It's Podraza. I'm not making any of this up. It's Pat. I went through a whole lot of hell amongst the wealth there, and I dealt with some good Protestants in high school. One female that went to the Mount that was run by the Sisters of Mercy. We couldn't afford to go there. I couldn't at that point in time. Piano through Protestants, and the brother went to East Catholic. She, Marlene Bassnight, went to the Mount. Now, I wouldn't have had any problem at the Mount at all. We just couldn't afford it at that point in time. This is serious stuff. So you must make sure that you have told me the truth on that. I will have nothing to do with that. Salem introduced me to the Seventh-day Adventists and, what's the other one? Jehovah's Witnesses. And the Unitarian thing kicked in Connecticut. That is gay-based also. Now, I know I don't have any problems with their capacity of brilliance. I don't believe in their coming out. I believe in that staying under the cover, in the closet, in those terms. It has not done them good, and our family had no prejudices. Now, that's solid. I didn't like that maneuvering at all in Massachusetts. You have a good night. My son has never been immature. And my daughter, they both worked hard there. In high school, they had to get extra things because I didn't have the income. They worked hard. They both worked in Massachusetts. Lee came here, went to school and worked. And Melanie did straight through, cut through a little field and worked straight through there. And with her husband, she got her master's. Now, that is where we're at. I don't play games on the subject of emotions, not one bit. I don't know whether I could have done it through Kay Moore here. I don't know whether I would have somehow got that done. Massachusetts had the only nighttime program, and maybe I was meant to be there, at least getting that part of it. Very serious stuff. This is not a laughing matter. When my mother refuses backwards in time on something also. Now, if you're rectifying part of it, good, but you must never and that Casey would never return phone calls in Massachusetts when my employment was messed up. I called backwards in time to see how it was impacting because of that mail next to the Carlton Ritz screeching about me, and he was facing Connecticut, abandoning my children. I never abandoned them. I had no way of getting employed in Connecticut, went to Texas to try to come back and make that decision. I put myself in a psychiatry hospital. I slept for a week in the midst of menstruation, straight through that. I was so exhausted to get some peace on the subject. And that is exactly what I do. Mom stood by me on that. And here, it is Shanny that would get me in with some males at that Shanghai place up the street that my father had a term for, and he loathed that subject of the noon lunch hour, screw him at lunch and all of that. He had no respect for it. There's a term for it. Flea bag. Oh, he had no respect for it. And he was savvy. That is what he had no respect for. And you know I have refined choices concerning sexuality. Now, that's serious in this thing. And it is nothing to be laughed at. And I will not tolerate any disrespect for that boy at all. I would have died without that boy in my life. I would fight anybody. I would gun down to protect that boy. I have a gun for defense. I am not the plaintiff. I am the defendant in this situation. That boy, my children don't die. And that is where this is at. They have been threatened, that boy, continually. I was not able to get to Franco Gendron Center, where there's music that I do enjoy. The cabs won't take me there. So I was not allowed anyway to enjoy the theater or Franco Gendron Center or anything that I enjoy. But I can go to the movie theater, and I go there amongst, I have to be actively alert, and I want to be able to go there. That is why I asked my mother, was there any Jewish in our family? It's a gift from God that you told me that somebody must have known something, and that was withheld from me all my life. That's why I'm attacking those Podrazas on this, and Sashelsky, the one remaining on this. That's important. If that impacted my father's reputation or my mother, they're going to have to find some money on that. That goes in my account, and that will be split with my son. I won't tolerate it in the family at all. Now, the top tier will not betray us. They were, Yola or something lost a daughter in this thing. That's serious stuff. Now, Charles wouldn't have betrayed me because of the relationship between his mother and Minnie, the two brothers married within the situation. And I'm telling you, there's different background on Aunt Alice, but they were very close, the two brothers. Honestly, were married relationships between my grandmother and, I think it's my grandmother, and her husband. The two brothers are connected. This is serious stuff. This is not laughing stuff. You must tell me always the truth. I gotta watch the Italians in this, because Polino was doing me in. Louis Polino. There's a restaurant in Boston, down in the Italian section, that is on the water, and I was shanghaied on that. I'm not that, and chose all these fields. Honestly, wealth can choose anything they want to do, an element of wealth, more than one field if they want to. That Polino shanghaied me, and only recently did I deal with a waitress properly on that subject matter. I was done in royally on this. That boy is no way a problem, ever, to me. And I'm telling you, I don't want that ruined in any fashion at all. That relationship with my son. I told him I'm good and I'm savvy. That is what I call myself. I am savvy. My father was, my mother was, the family was savvy. Now that includes the Vannies. They were, my mother would not have lied to me, nor would the Podraza, senior grandpa and grandma, have lied to me. This was serious in Massachusetts. I didn't know it was rude, and tried to analyze it and not upset my daughter. She left me. She heard me answer a TV. Why are you home? You just went to work. I went through hell on that subject in Massachusetts. I got that daughter back with me again. I worked at a bookstore for $25 a week to try to take her out to eat, to heal our life together. It was all right at Princeton Crossing. We lived in a dump. Somebody had been a drugger in there, and we got that rent because they never did it over. They did all of them over, and they didn't do that one over. I went nuts living like that in there. But Melanie was still with us and visiting us. We were all right. As I told you, it went down between Becky's shower 1 month later in that wedding that the whole relationship went down. It's healed a bit in Falmouth, but that marriage with Phil, he didn't want to show up, didn't want to bring me there. And then after that, that was the end. The grandchildren I met at Applebee's here, and Lee was here. And her son was upset without her being with them. We had a good visit, and I have not been involved since. This is serious stuff. This is not laughing gas stuff. And I told them I've got compassion. Jack's son is somewhere in a ditch somewhere due to the Lancios who had plenty of wealth, not looking for that boy. And I'm telling you, that's the Fresno's try. I can't do it alone. I could end up murdered. And don't have the money. Has to be done with a mayor. I have to tell that boy that his father loved him. And I have got to get him somehow to a rehab, if I can find him, and give him my way, which is his father's song, how he salaamed me, and he died earlier. He tried to, we used to sing sometimes in my harmony. You go on. Don't say a thing about Joyce. She was a good cook, talented, could sing. I can't say anything about her talents. Gotta say.